ಭೀತಿ ತೊರೆಯುವ ನಾವು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೆಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ
ಖಾಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಭರ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೊಂದಿಸಿ ಬರೆದು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಿ
ಚಿತ್ರ ಬರೆದು ಭಾಗವ ಹೆಸರಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೂ ಉತ್ತರಿಸಿ
ಪಾಸು ಫೇಲು ಗೆಲುವು ಸೋಲು ಜೀವನ ಎಲ್ಲಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮಿಗಿಲು
ಅಂಕಗಳೆಂದರೆ ಮೇಲಿನ ತೊಗಟೆ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಅದರ ಒಳಗಿನ ತಿರುಳು ಭೀತಿ ತೊರೆಯುವ ನಾವು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೆಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ
ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿ.
Today we are going to discuss an important chapter that we have learned in our 10th standard, right? That is, which is going to fetch about 5 to 6 marks, and the chapter you might already guessed, yes, it is statistics. So this chapter will help us to fetch about 5 to 6 marks in our exams. So let us start recapitulating. Okay, we shall recall all those things that we have learnt in our classroom situation. We have practiced well. Now we are trying to write our exams, the forthcoming exams. Okay, for that let us recall everything again. So we will start with statistics for today's class. Okay, what all we have learnt in statistics? Let us just get a bird's eye view of the chapter, entire chapter. Okay, under statistics we have learnt about the measures of central tendency. Majorly we have learnt that, and one more thing is graphical representation by using ogives. Under measures of central tendency you have learnt regarding mean, right, median and the mode. Whereas under ogive you have learnt two types of ogive construction, that was less than ogive and the other one is more than ogive. To calculate mean you have learnt three different methods, right? One is direct method, assumed mean method and the step deviation method. So these are three methods that you have learned to calculate mean. So this was the bird's eye view of the entire chapter statistics that you have learned for a class 10. Okay, now we shall start revising those things. Okay, we will recall the procedure or the methods being followed to calculate mean, median and mode, and also learn how to draw the ogive. Okay, let us begin. Let us see the different kinds of questions and try to answer them. See children, you are supposed to remember and recall all those methods that you have learnt to calculate mean, median and mode. For that, first and foremost you need to remember and recall all the formulas. Okay, you need to recall the formulas. Let us start doing that. So the important formulae that we have learnt under the chapter statistics. The first one was to calculate mean. So mean can be calculated using the formula sigma fx divided by n. Sometimes we read it also as summation fx by n. In your textbooks it is also being given as summation fi xi by summation fi. So you can write as of this form or in that form also, and you know that you have solved the problems based on mean by using three different methods. Children, you need to practice any one method and be perfect in that. Okay, so I'll go with direct method for these classes. The next is the mode. So mode is equal to L plus f1 minus f0 divided by 2f1 minus f0 minus f2 into h. The next, yes, it is median. So median is equal to L plus n by 2 minus fc divided by fm into h. The other one, very important, a relationship between the mean, median and the mode, and it is also called as empirical formula. What is that? Yes, you are right. It might be asked for 1 mark. Write the empirical formula. So that you need to write this. Mode is equal to 3 times the median minus 2 times mean. Okay, these are the very important formulae that you have learnt in the chapter statistics. Now we shall solve problems based on mean, median and mode and get practiced well for our exams. We will start. Yes. Calculate mean value for the given data. Observe the data given and try to follow the steps carefully and get the mean value. Now we shall start writing the solution for this problem. Let us see how to write the solution. For the first, we will write the given data here first. Okay. So the data is given. Let us tabulate it properly. Here, if you observe, there is a column by name frequency. What does the frequency represent? Frequency represents that in the class interval 10 to 20, there are 5 observations, whereas in the class interval 20 to 30, you have 7 observations. From 30 to 40, you have 10 observations. 40 to 50, you have 4 observations, and 50 to 60, there are 8 observations. 60 to 70, there are 6 observations. After knowing this, what's the first step? Yes, your guess is right. You have to calculate summation Fi. You need to add the frequency column. So we shall do that. Add the numbers in the frequency column and get the value of summation Fi, or also represented as n. Let us see how to add this. Add up all these numbers. Okay. After adding, you will write it as and represent it as n. So n is equal to 40. Now write this sum here as n is equal to 40. What's the next step? Yes, you are right. We have to calculate the midpoint of each of the class intervals given. So how to calculate midpoint? Okay, let us see how to calculate midpoint. We have the given formula like this. Midpoint x is given as lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. So the first class interval, which is the lower limit, in the first class interval the lower limit is 10, upper limit is 20. Add them up, divided by 2. How much do you get? Yes, it is 10 plus 20 by 2, which gives you 15. Write this 15 in the row representing 10 to 20, okay, class interval. So x is 15. What next? Now solve in the same procedure to get the other values of x. Okay. Now the next column, it has 20 to 30. So it is 20 plus 30 by 2, which gives you 25. The next 30 plus 40 divided by 2. 30 plus 40 is 70 divided by 2, and you get 35. The next 40 plus 50 divided by 2, you get 45. The next 50 plus 60, that is 110 divided by 2 gives you 55. 60 plus 70 divided by 2, you get 65. So now we have calculated all the midpoints. What next? See, what is represent here? X is the midpoint of 10 to 20, which means that we are assuming that the number 15 is repeated for 5 times. Okay. So 15 has appeared for 5 times. So you have to add 15 5 times. Instead of adding 15 5 times, I can multiply and write. I can write it as 15 into 5, that is product of f and x. Now we will write and fill the column, that is fx, by multiplying the numbers in the column f and the numbers in the column x, and write it in the column fx. Okay. So 5 times 15 is 75. 7 times 25 is 175. 10 times 35 is 350. 4 times 45 is 180. 8 times 55 440. You are calculating right? 6 times 655. Yes, come on, what's the answer? Yes, it is 390. Now what's the next step? We need to add all the numbers present in this column to get sum of fx terms. Okay, that is represented as summation fi xi. Here I have written it as summation fx. Let us add all these numbers now. Start adding it. Okay, did you add? How much did you get? Verify. Is it 1610? Yes. Now write it as summation fx is equal to 1610. Now recall the formula that you have learned for mean. Mean is equal to summation fx by n. So now the two values that we require to solve this problem are ready with us. One is 1610 and the value of n is 40 here. We have both the values. What is the next step? We need to substitute the values. That's it. Come on, substitute. So summation fx is 1610, 1610, n is 40. What do you do now? Divide it and you get 40.25. So therefore the mean of the given data is 40.25. It is represented as x bar. Remember the symbol also, right? So mean is equal to 40.25. Is that clear, children? Understood? So this is how we calculate mean. So what will you do first? You will write down the midpoint, later multiply the f, the frequency, with x and get fx, add them up, add the numbers in the frequency column also, divide them in substituting the formula, and later you get the answer. That is what will be the mean of the given data. Very simple procedure. This is direct method. Okay, we have two more methods, but in this particular class I am going to discuss only regarding the direct method. Okay, now the next is to calculate. Let us now understand how to calculate mode. What is mode actually? Mode is the, yes, it is the observation which is repeated number of times. How do we find it out? In our previous classes in class 8 and class 9, we used to just write down the number which is repeated number of times, because we had been given with what kind of class intervals were there? There were no class intervals. It was an ungrouped data. But for a grouped data, how to calculate mode? Here is the procedure. Let us see. Calculate the mode for the given data. Let us take the data first. The data is given like this. Yes, you could just have a observation that you could see and observe that the class interval with the highest frequency will have the mode. Which is that interval? Yes, it is 30 to 40, because the highest frequency, you could see the frequency column there, the highest is 10. Therefore the class interval which has the mode will be 30 to 40. So this is one random idea of getting what is the mode, but that is not the actual value. You could not make the actual value by just seeing the class interval. How do we do that? Let us see and understand what is the procedure to be followed to calculate mode. So first and foremost, what I said, you need to know what is the modal class. How do you know the modal class? As I said, the class with the highest frequency here is 30 to 40, because out of all the frequencies that you observe here, okay, the highest is 10. So 10 is the number which is bigger. So therefore the modal class will now be 30 to 40. Corresponding to 10, we have the modal class as 30 to 40. Okay. What next? After knowing this modal class, what will you do now? We will find out what is the lower limit and the class interval size. You could see the class interval is in discontinuous form. I already said to calculate mode and median as well as for OGIF, the class interval should be in a continuous format. You could see that it is in a continuous format. So therefore the lower limit I can directly, that is 30. The size of confidence interval, just subtract 40 and 30. See the size, it is 10. So H is 10. Okay, you came to know what is L, you came to know what is H. So now what is the next step? We need to know the three different frequencies, that is F1, F2 and F0. How do we calculate it? Just observe this table. Okay, in this table the frequency, highest frequency is 10 and I marked it as F1. Okay, just above this frequency mark or the modal class, you will get the F0, that is 7. Okay, just below this modal class you will get the next frequency, that is F2 required, that is 4. So remember children, we have three frequencies marked here, F1, F0, F2. F1 is the frequency corresponding to the modal class, F0 is the frequency corresponding just before the modal class, and f2 is the frequency corresponding to the class interval which is just after the modal class. Okay, so note down all the three frequencies. Now remember the formula, recall it, write down the formula, check out whether you got all the values now. L is known, f1 is known, f0 is known, h is known, f2 is also known. So we know all the required terms on the right hand side. Now substitute the values, simplify it, there ends the problem with mode. So let us substitute it. So L is 30 because that's the lower limit, f1 is the frequency, that is 10, f0 is the frequency which is just above the modal class, okay, that is 7, and now 2 times of f1 is 2 into 10, f0 is 7 again, f2 is 4 and h is 10. Now the next step, to simplify this part. Okay, let us see how to simplify. 10 minus 7 is 3, 2 times 10 is 20, minus 7 minus 4 is added and is written as minus 11. So let us write that. Now after getting this, what should we do now? Subtract 20 minus 11, how much do you get? Yes, it is 9. Okay, write down. See, you have to go stepwise, you can simplify very easily. Okay, very easy steps here. So 3 by 9 into 10. So you can multiply 3 and 10, divide by 9, or divide 3 and 9 and multiply it by 10. So now what's the next thing? As I said, multiply 3 into 30, divide it by 9, 30 by 9 gives you 3.33. So 30 plus 3.33, add them up, you get the mode, and our mode is 33.33. Is that clear, children? This is how we calculate mode. What did we do actually? We have written the class intervals, the frequency column, and now we try to find out the frequency, highest frequency, and that represents the modal class. After noting that, we marked f1, f0 and f2, and later we use the formula, substituted the values, simplified it, and we got the mode. Very simple procedure, children. So you can solve it very easily, very simple procedure. So better practice these kind of sums, you may fetch good marks in your exams. Okay, now we shall go with one more kind of problem. Find the median of the given data. Let us see how to solve such kind of question also. Here again, the class intervals are already in the continuous format. So you could see they are all in continuous format. So that's not a problem. We just directly calculate the median. So what's the first step? What should we do? First of all, you need to write down the class interval again along with the frequency, add up the frequency. This is the first step that we are going to do while calculating median. Come on, do that. Okay. Yes, we have added the frequencies and we have got 40. Now what will you do? You have to calculate the cumulative frequency. What does cumulative frequency tell us? See, between 10 to 20 you have 5 observations, right? 5 scores or 5 observations. 20 to 30 you have 7 observations. But what about if you start from 10 to 30? How many observations are there? Yes, it is 12. How? It is 5 plus 7 which gives you 12. So from 10 to 30 you have 12 observations. Similarly, how much observations are there between 10 to 70? 10 to 70 it is 40, total number of observations. Okay. Now we will write such kind of frequency, that is called as cumulative frequency. How do we write that? Let us start doing it. Okay. First write down as it is in the first column, 5 as it is in the row. Okay. Now add 5 to 7. Okay, add 5 and 7, you write that here. What does it mean? There are 12 observations from 10 to 30. Now next, from 10 to 40 there are 22. How it is? 12 plus 10 is 22. Next, 22 plus 4 gives you 26, which means there are 26 scores between 10 to 50. The next, 10 to 60 there are 34 scores. How did you get it? 26 plus 8 is 34. Now 34 plus 6 gives you 40, which means from 10 to 70 there are 40 observations. Is it right? just make a verification. Here you can see 40, which means total observations are 40. Here also you can see it is 40. So, it is right because you have got the same answer in both the procedures. Okay. Now, what will we do? First of all, you need to check out which is the median class. We want the median, right? Where is the median now? In which class is the median present? How do you come to know that? Out of 40 scores that we have, the middlemost score is the median. 40 scores are there. Middlemost as? Middlemost, what should we do for middlemost score? Divide it by 2. So, 40 divided by 2 is 20. So, 20th observation is your median. Where is the 20th observation now? We have to check it out. How do we know it? So, let us see how to solve that. Okay. Median class will be the class with n by 2th observation. So, there is 40 by 2, which is 20th observation. So, class with 20th observation. Which is the class with 20th observation? Observe now. This class interval, this class 10 into 20 will have only 5 scores. This will have only 12. Up to 12 it is here. After 12 up to 22 it is in the class interval 30 to 40. So, we want the 20th observation. Then where it is? It is in the class interval 30 to 40. So, we will mark this 30 to 40 as our median class. Okay. So, if this is the median class, then the lower limit L will be 30 and the size of class interval is 10 because 40 minus 30 is 10. Is it clear, children? Okay. We shall mark that. It is very important class interval for us. Now, we shall know still more terms that are required for our calculation. Let us now recall the formula. Okay. Which is our formula for median? So, median is equal to L plus n by 2 minus Fc divided by Fm into H. What is the lower limit here? Lower limit is known, it is 30. N by 2. So, it is 40 by 2, it is 20. What is Fc? Fc is the cumulative frequency just before the median class. What is that? That is 12. Remember, children, Fc represents the cumulative frequency just above the median class. So, median class is 30 to 40, which is marked here. Okay. The cumulative frequency just above this is 12. So, Fc is 12. What is Fm? Fm is the median frequency of the median class. So, frequency of median class is 10. So, into H is known, it is already, it is 10. Now, what will you do? We will substitute the values and get the median. Now, start substituting the values. So, L is 30, n by 2 is 20, Fc is 12, Fm is 10 and into 10 again. So, cancel 10 with 10. So, we remain with 20 minus 12. So, 20 minus 12 is 8. So, 30 plus 8 is 38. So, the required median is 38. Is it clear, children? So, let us just recall the procedure. How do we do this? First of all, we list the class intervals, their frequency and write down the cumulative frequency, note down the median class, then substitute the values in the formula and simplify it. There ends with the problem of median. So, quite important and easiest problem. You can solve it and you may get 3 marks for this kind of questions. Now, we have calculated mean, median and mode. Now, we shall see a problem based on the relationship of all the 3. Okay. Let us see such kind of problem. Let us see how to solve that. Okay. So, the data collected in a survey shows that the mean is 40.25, the median is 38 and the mode to be calculated. How do we do that? Remember the empirical formula. Recall now and write down the formula for the relationship between mean, median and mode. So, mode is given as 3 median minus 2 mean. You know the median value, you know the mean value, substitute them and you get the answer. So, come on, do that. Write down the median given as 38 and the mean is 40.25. Substitute both the values, simplify it. So, 3 times of 38 and 2 times of 40.25, multiply and write down the numbers there. That is 114 minus 80.5. Subtract both of them, you get the mode. Is it clear, children? So, this kind of problem may appear for 1 mark. Okay. So, find the median for the given data. Observe the class interval, it is not continuous. You could see that because the upper limit of the first class interval is 19, whereas the lower limit is 20 here. So, there is a gap between 19 and 20. Just think, if you go with data collection and we have a number by 19.5 that lies between 19 and 20, but you could not include in this class interval and even not in this class interval also, because 19.5 is more than 19 and 19.5 is less than 20. So, if that is the case, how should I do it? So, that is why you always suggest to have the class intervals in a continuous format. So, how do I do that? That is very much important. First and foremost, to write the class intervals in the continuous format is the first step, if this is the case where the class intervals are not continuous. So, let us write down to write it how to do that. So, you could see that there is a gap 20 to 19, that is 1. So, divided by 2. So, that is the adjustment factor. Observe here, 20 minus 19 is equal to 1. So, you will get 1. So, 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So, for each of these numbers in the class intervals given, you will add 0.5 to the upper limit and subtract 0.5 from the lower limit. If that is the case, just check out for the first one. 10 to 19, 10 minus 0.5 is 9.5, 19 plus 0.5 is 19.5. Is it right? Now, similarly for the second class interval, 20 minus 0.5 is 19.5, 29 plus 0.5 is 29.5. So, you will now rewrite the class intervals given in that format. Okay, this is how we have got. Is it clear? So, the lower limit is 9.5, upper limit is 19.5. The same number is repeated here in the lower limit. Could you see that? Now, it is in continuous form. Observe 29.5, 39.5. It is repeated here. 49.5 is repeated here. So, it is in a continuous format. So, this is how we should get. If you know this, and all other steps are as we have followed in the previous example. You will write continuous CF, cumulative frequency. How to write the cumulative frequency, you already know that. First of all, repeat the same number here in the first row, there is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 plus 10 is 22. 22 plus 4 is 26. 26 plus 8 gives you 34, and 34 plus 6 is 40. So, you have already learned how to calculate median. So, this is only a recapitulation now. You know that 40 is repeated here, which means it is correct. We have written CF properly, right? Now, what next? Yes, you have to mark the median class. How do we do that? You know there are 40 scores divided by 2. The 20th observation will be the median class. So, mark that median class, that is 29.5 to 39.5. So, what is the lower limit? What is the size of the class interval? So, 29.5, 39.5. So, the size of the class interval is 10 and the lower limit is 29.5. Write down those values. Now, after knowing all these values, let us substitute in the formula. So, recall the formula. So, median is equal to L plus N by 2 minus FC divided by FM into H is the formula. Substitute the known values. L is known, L is 29.5, N by 2 is known, it is 20, FC is known, it is 12, FM is 10. Substitute all these values, simplify that. So, 10 get cancelled here. Now, 20 minus 12 is 8. So, 29.5 plus 8 is 37.5, and that is our median. Is that clear, children? So, this is how we will calculate median when the class interval is not continuous. So, the only change is that you have to write down the class intervals in the continuous form. Other than that, all the other steps are exactly the same. There is no change. Is that clear, children? Right. Now, we shall go with one more kind of problem. Okay. In an examination, it was found that the mean of the scores scored by the students was about 40.25. So, there is one frequency which is missing in the given data. You have to calculate the missing frequency. Let us see what is the data actually. So, data is like this. We have to calculate the missing frequency there, that is represented as M. Yes, you could see that. So, the missing frequency has to be calculated. How do I do that? let us see and try to solve, okay, and get the value for m. For the first, write down the class intervals once again, okay, write all the class intervals. So, class interval is written, f is written, okay. You could see the class interval with 40 to 50 has a frequency m, which is unknown. This is what you have to calculate, okay. The value of m has to be calculated. So, for that, first of all, add up the frequency column, observe the class interval 40 to 50, the frequency is unknown. This is what the unknown frequency, and you have to calculate it. How do we do that? First of all, add the numbers in the frequency column and write down the sum. You know that the sum is represented as n, let us write down. So, 5 plus 7 plus 10 plus m plus 8 plus 6. Now, write down the sum as n, and the value of n is 36 plus m. Now, the next step is to write the midpoint. You have already learnt how to write the midpoint. Now, let us write the midpoint values, which is represented by x. How to calculate x? Recall it. So, x is equal to lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. So, the lower limit here for the first class interval is 10. So, 10 plus 20 is the upper limit, add them up, divided by 2. So, 10 plus 20 by 2 is 15. Write this 15 under the column, okay, x, that is 15 here. The next is 20 to 30 is the next one, add them up, divided by 2, and you get 25. The next 30 plus 40 divided by 2, what do you get? It is 35. 40 plus 50 divided by 2 is 45. 50 plus 60 divided by 2, you get 55. 60 plus 70 divided by 2, you get 65. So, write down all the midpoint values. After doing this, yes, next is trying out to calculate f and x, product of fx, okay. Now, let us try to calculate product of f and x. So, f into x is 5 times of 15 gives you 75, write it down. 7 into 25 is 175, 10 into 35 is 350, m into 45, write it as 45 m, 8 into 55 is 440, 6 into 65 is 390. Now, add up the numbers in fx column. Remember, never add this 45m with these numbers, okay. 45m is an algebraic term, okay. It is a variable, add all the other numbers, okay, and then later add 45m to it, okay. So, on adding all these numbers, how much do I get? It is 1430 plus 45m, that represents summation fx value, okay, 1430 plus 45m. What is the next step? Now, calculate mean. So, in order to calculate mean, what was the formula? Recall and write the formula. Here we know the mean, we have to calculate f. So, let us substitute those values and get the answer, okay. So, mean is equal to summation fx by n, okay. After getting the sum, let us now recall the formula for mean. Write down the formula for mean, substitute the values for summation fx as well as for n, okay. It is 1430 plus 45m for summation fx, and for n it is 36 plus m. Now, cross multiply 36m and 40.25, multiply those two, okay, write down. Now, multiply 40.25 with 36 and 40.25 again with m, okay, write down that step, okay. On multiplying 40.25 with 36, you get 1449, and 40.25 into m is 40.25 m is equal to as it is in the RHS. Now, take all this algebraic terms with m onto one side and constants onto one side. So, let us simplify that like that. So, it is 45 minus 40.25 into m, which is equal to 1449 minus 1430. So, on subtracting these two numbers I get 19, and subtracting these two numbers I get 4.75. So, 4.75 m is equal to 19. Simplify this for m is equal to 19 divided by 4.75, which gives you 4. Therefore, the value of the missing frequency here is 4. Is that clear, children? Okay. This is how you may calculate the missing frequency also. Now we shall discuss about one more important problem to construct ogive. Okay, very important, which may fetch you about 3 marks in your exams. Okay, so quite important. Let us see, there are two kinds of ogive construction. One is less than ogive, the other one is more than ogive. We shall now understand and get to know about both the methods, because we shall recall it and we shall practice it, so that we will get good marks in our exams. Okay, so let us start with less than ogive. So construct a less than ogive for the given data. Okay, how do we do that? What is the procedure to be followed? Let us see. The data is given like this. See, if it is not continuous, you have to write it continuous format, but it is already in the continuous format, so we need not worry for that. Okay, the next is, now we shall follow these procedures. Just observe. Okay, first write down the class interval and the frequency properly. After writing this, you need to write one more column here, which will help you to take the coordinate points. Okay, so 10 to 20 class interval, if you are drawing a less than ogive, we will consider this class interval frequency like this. We have to write the cumulative frequency here, stating like this. Okay, we shall write and fill this column now. 10 to 20 class interval is written as less than 20. Okay, we will write this as less than 20. The next is less than 30. We are considering upper limits to write this particular column. Okay, less than 40, less than 50, less than 60, less than 70. Why this? What does it mean? So less than 20, how many scores are there? You could see here it is only 5 frequencies. Okay, 5. So frequency is 5, which means it is 5. So less than 20, you have only 5 scores. What about less than 30? How many scores are there? So less than 30, you have 5 plus 7, which is 12. So in order to read this properly, we require this column. Okay, so less than 40, we have 12 plus 10, that is 22 scores. Less than 50, we have 26 scores. Less than 60, we have 34 scores. Less than 70, we have 40 scores. Okay, so total number of scores is 40, and less than 70, we have 40 scores. Now it is correct. Okay, in your exams, they may directly give this format itself. There is a chance of, okay, giving the problem stating in such way also. If this is given, you will be directly given with the cumulative frequency. Remember this. If this is the format given, okay, you will be directly given with CF. You need not write the CF again. If it is given in the form of class interval, you need to change it to CF. Okay, now let us write down all the coordinate points. See, we are considering upper limit, so it is 20, 5. First point is 20, 5. Next point 30, 12. The next is 40, 22. Next, yes, 50, 26. The next is 60, 34. The next is 70, 40. So these are all the coordinate points. Okay, what next? Now you will be given with a graph sheet. Take the graph sheet. Okay, list out all the coordinate points. Okay, mark the x-axis, mark the y-axis with suitable scale. Now mark the limits here on the x-axis. Okay, you know these are all the upper limits being marked here, and with the suitable scale take up the cumulative frequency. Okay, mark them. Now what next? According to the coordinate points given here, we will start marking the points here. So the first point is 20, 5. So 20, 5 somewhere here, point it. Yes. But the next point, it is 30, 12. Now take 30. Okay, on x-axis you are on 30 now. Now mark 12, corresponding 12 on the y-axis point. Next is 40, 22. Go to 40 point on x-axis. Okay, now move on the y-axis and mark 22. Now 50 to 26 on the y-axis, 60 to 34 on the y-axis. The next is 70 on the x-axis and mark corresponding value on y-axis, that is 40, mark it. Okay, now join these points to get the required curve. Never use a scale, so go with a freehand drawing and get the curve. This is called the less than ogive. Okay, is it clear, children? Now let us try to draw the more than ogive also. How to do that? So, given data is like this. So, we need to write this data again, tabulate it in a other way. We will tabulate it, okay, tabulate, and now consider the lower limits to write the cumulative frequency. Okay, observe how it is done. So, we are considering the lower limit. So, 10 or more than 10, 20 to 30 is the class interval size. So, we will write it as 20 or more than 20, 30 or more than 30, 40 or more than 40, 50 or more than 50, 60 or more than 60. Right. Now, we have to write the cumulative frequency to draw the more than ogive. How do we start it? If you see, it is 10 or more than 10. So, to get 10 or more than 10 is all these intervals you have to take, right. So, we need to add all the frequencies here, 5 plus 7 plus 10 plus 4 plus 8 and plus 6, or add up all the frequencies and write. So, for the first line you have to add all the numbers here and write down. For the 20 to more than 20, we will start from here, 7. So, instead of doing this, I will do like this, just observe. So, let us start from 60 and more than 60. 60 and more than 60, there is only 6. Write that here first. Now, 50 or more than 50 is 6 and 8. So, add this in this way, okay. Go from lower end. 6 plus 8 is 14. 4 plus 10, okay. Repeat. 14 plus 4 is 18. Now, 18 plus 10 gives you 28. 28 plus 10 is 35. 35 plus 10 is 40. Children, if I observe here, now we can read it now properly. 10 or more than 10, you have 40 scores. 20 or more than 20, you have 35 scores. 30 or more than 30, you have 28 scores. 40 or more than 40, you have 18 scores. 50 or more than 50, you have 14 scores. And 60 or more than 60, you have only 6 scores. Is it clear? Yes. In exams, they may directly give this with cumulative frequencies, or they may give you the class interval and you need to get the CF value. Okay. If it is stated in this way, okay, if it is given this way, you have to just directly do the graph. You need not calculate CF again, because when it is stated in this manner, the CF is already present, okay, it is already given. Now, list out the coordinate points. So, what are the coordinate points for the first thing? The first coordinates are 10, 40. The next 20, 35. The next 30, 28. Next 40, 18. No, you are observing right. 50, 14, and the last it is 60, 6. Now, we got all the coordinate points. What next? We need to draw the ogive by considering suitable scale. We will start doing that. Okay. More than ogive, we know the coordinate points. Now, take the graph sheet, mark x axis, mark y axis, mark the origin. Now, write down all the lower limits on the x axis by using suitable scale. Do this. And on the y axis, mark the cumulative frequency values for suitable scale. Okay. Yes, after doing this, we will start plotting the graph with the given coordinate points. For 10, the first value is 10, 40. So, x on the x axis will move towards 10, and towards y axis from the point 10 you will move towards 40. So, move it here and mark the point as 10, 40. Now, what next? 20, 35. So, on x axis move towards 20. Okay, from that position you start moving towards y axis up to 35. Now, mark the point 35. Okay. The next is 20 is finished. Now, we will go for 30, 30, 28. Next is 40 and move towards y axis now. It is 18. So, it is 40, 18 is marked. 50, 14 to be marked. 50, move towards y axis, it is 14 there. 60, 6. Now, the last point is marked 60, 6. What is next? Now, without using scale, you need to mark these points. Draw a freehand curve. Do this, join the points. Okay. Yes, we got the more than ogive. Is it clear, children? Practice both the kinds of ogive. You will be asked to draw any one of them. Okay. Either they may ask you less than ogive or more than ogive. Okay. This will be fetching you about 3 marks for your examination. So, we have now concluded with all kinds of sums that were present in statistics chapter. All the best. Do well in your exams. Okay. Try to solve the home assignment also. Thank you.
Hello my dear students, welcome to the 10th revision class. I am Girish BS, working as a science teacher in the Government High School, Vaddagere, Kodkere Taluk, Madhya Education District. Students, today we discuss about the chapter 16, Sustainable Management of Natural Resources. Okay, and this is one of the important chapter in the science subject. It carries 2 to 3 marks in the annual examination. Especially in this chapter they ask for applied questions in the examinations. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರೋ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿರುತ್ತೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇದನ್ನು. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್? ಎಸ್, ವಿ ಕಮ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್. ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ 5 R's. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ 5 R's? ರಿಫ್ಯೂಸ್, ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್, reuse, repurpose and recycle in our lives, daily lives. Then management of forest resources and wildlife, dams and water harvesting, fossil fuels, especially coal and petroleum. Students, these are the important learning points or teaching points in the chapter sustainable management of natural resources. What are the important objectives of this chapter is to maintain ecological diversity, to provide resources for future generation, to maintain employment facilities for people. Next, management of natural resources. What is the meaning of that? Yes, natural resource management refers to the management of resources such as animals, plants, soil, land to improve the quality of life. Let me repeat, students. Natural resource management refers to the management of resources such as animals, plants, soil, land to improve the quality of life. It focuses on how they could possibly be managed for our today and tomorrow. It deals with the way in which people interact with natural landscapes. Next, what is the meaning of natural resources? It is nothing but the resources which provided by the nature to satisfy the needs and demands of human beings are called natural resources. Let me repeat, the resources which provided by nature to satisfy the needs and demands of human beings are called natural resources. What are the examples? Examples are water, air, soil, forest, etc. Student, look here. This picture shows that some of the important natural resources like water. Look at the soil, some of the greeneries. These are the these are the examples for the natural resources. Okay, one of the wonderful diagram, wonderful nature. Okay, and then when we move to the next point, that is Ganga Action Plan. What is Ganga Action Plan? The Ganga Action Plan is a multi-crore project which was started in 1985 because the quality of the water in the Ganga was very poor. It is a project to clean river Ganga. Let me repeat once again, students. Ganga Action Plan is a multi-crore project which was started in 1985 because the quality of the water in the Ganga was very poor. It is a project to clean river Ganga. Then what are the reasons for the Ganga Action Plan? ಏನು ರೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ದಿ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ರಿವರ್ ಗಂಗಾ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್, ದಿ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಕಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್, especially the bacteria called coliform bacteria, the number of bacteria should be increased in the river Ganga. Look here, ಆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ನಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ತುಂಬ ನೀರೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಹೋಗ್ಲಾಡ್ಸೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಗಂಗಾ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಗಂಗಾ ಈಸ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ರಿಲೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಸೀವೇಜ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ. ದಿ ಬಾತಿಂಗ್, washing also causes pollution. Industries add chemicals into the river. The pollution of river makes it toxic, which is very harmful for health. Look here, ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ನ ನೋಡಿ, ಆ ಗಂಗಾ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪುಣ್ಯ ನದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ನಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮಲಿನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರೀಸಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮಲಿನಕಾರಿ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ರಿವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ದಿ ರಿವರ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್. ಆ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ನ ಹೋಗ್ಲಾಡ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ನ ಕಳಿಬೇಕು, ಆ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ನ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಗಂಗಾ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಬಂತು. ಆ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂದ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಗಂಗಾ ರಿವರ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ನೋ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಕಂಟಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ವಿತ್ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಕಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಜರ್ಮ್ಸ್? ಇದು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ know about the contamination of water with disease causing germs? Coliform is a group of bacteria found in human intestines whose presence in water indicate contamination by disease causing microorganisms. Note that this is called the coliform, the group of coliform bacteria. It is a rod shaped bacteria. Okay, this graph shows that fecal coliform levels from Gangotri to Diamond Harbour. It is nothing but total coliform count level in the Ganga. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಗಂಗೋತ್ರಿ ಟು ಡೈಮಂಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಬರ್. ದಿ ರೆಡ್ ಲೈನ್ ಶೋಸ್, ಗ್ರಾಫಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ರೆಡ್ ಲೈನ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, ದಟ್ ಶೋಸ್ ದಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕೋಲಿಫಾರಮ್ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಗಂಗಾ ಇನ್ 2007. ದಿ ಬ್ಲೂ ಲೈನ್ ಶೋಸ್ ದಟ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕೋಲಿಫಾರಮ್ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಗಂಗಾ 2011. It means that in the 2011 the number of coliform bacteria should be increased in the Ganga river. Whenever the bacteria should increase, then the Ganga river is polluted. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅದು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಗಂಗಾ ನದಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋಲಿಫಾರಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್. ಕನ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್. ಓಕೆ, we must have come across the 5 R's to save the environment. What are 5 R's? Refuse, reduce, then reuse, repurpose, recycle. These are the 5 R's to save the environment: refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose and recycle. The first one is refuse. What does it mean by refuse? This means to say no to things people offer you that you don't need. Let me repeat, what is refuse? This means to say no to things people offer you that you don't need. Refuse to buy products that can harm you and the environment. Say no single use plastic carry bags. ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಾವು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಿರಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟು ರೆಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ದಿ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್, reduce. What do you mean by reduce? This means that you use less. Save electricity by switching off unnecessary lights and fans. Save water by repairing leaky taps. Do not waste food. Use a vehicle that gives a better mileage. This is the meaning of reduce. Okay. Let's move to the next slide. Recycle. What is recycle? Yes, this means that collect plastic, paper, glass and metal items and recycle these materials to make required things instead of synthesizing or extracting fresh plastic, paper, glass or metal. In order to recycle, first we need to segregate our wastes so that the material that can be recycled is not dumped along with other wastes. ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ನ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಆಗದಲ್ಲೇ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸೆಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ರೀಯೂಸ್. what is meant by reuse? This is actually even better than recycling, because the process of recycling uses some energy. In the reuse strategy, you simply use things again and again. Instead of throwing away used envelopes, you can reverse it and use it again. The plastic bottles in which you buy various food items like jam or pickle can be used for storing things in the kitchen. For example, students, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಿಚನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸು, ಜಾಮ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬೂಸ್ಟ್ ಡಬ್ಬಿಗಳು ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಖಾಲಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಪೌಡರ್ ಖಾಲಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಆ ಬಾಟಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಎಸೆಯಬಾರ್ದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದರೆ, ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡುಗೆ ಮನೇಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಇಂಗ್ರೀಡಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ಪುನಃ ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ರೀಯೂಸ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಪುನಃ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರೀಪರ್ಪಸ್? ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಎ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ no more be used for the original purpose, think carefully and use it for some other useful purpose. Okay, for example, cracked crockery or cups with broken handles can be used to grow small plants and as feeding vessels for birds. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥನ್ ಪಾಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದು ಒಡೆದೋಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಒಡೆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಹಾಗೆ ಬಿಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು, ಅಥವಾ ಹೋಲಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪಾಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ನ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಶೋ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಮನೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಅರ್ಥನ್ ಪಾಟ್ನ ಎಸೆಯೋ ಬದಲು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅಗೇನ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ರೀಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಹಾಲಿನ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಕವರ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಕವರ್ಸ್ನ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಎಸೆಯೋ ಬದಲು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಕವರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಮಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿ ಆ ಮಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೀಡ್ಸ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೋ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬೆಳ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಪುನಃ ಮರು ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ರೀಪರ್ಪಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ರಿಯೂಸ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ದನ್ ರೀಸೈಕಲ್. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಏನಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್? ಹೌ ರಿಯೂಸ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ದನ್ ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಏನು ಬರಿಬೋದು ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ? ಎಸ್, ರೀಸೈಕ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಯೂಸಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ವೈಲ್ reuse requires very less or no energy. Let me repeat, students, look here, recycling uses some energy while reuse requires very less or no energy. Okay, only segregated wastes can be recycled. Recycling causes pollution. These are the points. Remember how reuse is better than recycle. ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಈ 3 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ವಾ? ಎಸ್, ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಸ್, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಏನು ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ವೈ ಈಸ್ ಸಸ್ಟೈನಬಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ನೆಸೆಸರಿ? ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನು ಬರಿಬೋದು ನೀವು ಉತ್ತರ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್? ಎಸ್, ಸಸ್ಟೈನಬಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ judicious use of natural resources so that they fulfill our needs and last for generation to come. Economic development is linked to environmental conservation. Thus, sustainable development implies a change in all aspects of life. ಈ 2 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್. ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ನ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಳಸಬೇಕು ನಾವು? ಎಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ increasing at a tremendous rate due to improvement in health care, the demand for all resources is increasing at an exponential rate. Okay, aim of management of resources. The aim of management of natural resources is long term perspective so that these will last for the generation to come and will not merely be exploited to the hilt for short term gains. Let me repeat, the aim of management of natural resources is long term perspective so that these will last for the generations to come and will not merely be exploited to the hill for short term gains. To ensure equitable distribution of resources so that all and not just a handful of rich and powerful people benefit from the development of these resources. Okay, next let's move to the next slide. What changes can you make in your habits to become more environment friendly? ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಬರೀಬಹುದು? stop wastage of water, switching off unnecessary light and fans, don't waste food, take as much as you require, walking down or use cycle for going to nearby market instead of using vehicle, separate wastes into recyclable and non-recyclable, reuse carry bags, packing materials, plastic containers and other reusable material. In this slide, what are the advantages of short term aims over long term aims? Yes, short term exploitation of natural resources fulfill the current demand. It is beneficial for the present generation only, whereas management of resources with long term perspective is aimed to fulfill the needs of future generations. Okay. Long term use of resources can be achieved through its sustainable use. Then ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಕ್ವಶನು? ವಾಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ದಿ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಏಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೇನು ಬರೀತೀರಾ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಹಾಗಾದರೆ? ಎಸ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಲುಕ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಓವರ್ ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ with short-term interest in mind will give a boost to the economy. However, the increased growth of the economy will be short-lived since the exploitation of resources is not sustainable. Exploiting resources for the sake of short-term goals will be beneficial to the present generations but not for the future generation. Remember students, okay? Then another concept is stakeholders for conservation of forest. Who are the stakeholders for forest? The people who live in or around forest are the dependent on forest produce for various aspects of their life. Then the forest department of the government, which owns the land and controls the resource from the forest. Then the small and big industrialists who use various forest produce but are not dependent on the forest in any one area. The wildlife and the nature enthusiasts who want to conserve nature in its pristine form. You and me, because sustainable use of forest would ultimately be benefit for all. That's why the stakeholders are the people who live around forest, the forest department of the government, the small and big industrialist, the wildlife natural enthusiast. You and me are the stakeholders for conservation of forest. ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೂ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನು ಬರೀಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್. ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್. ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ರಬ್ಬರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರಿ, ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್, ಮೈನಿಂಗ್, ಟಿಂಬರ್, ಫಾರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯೂಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ. ಈ ಚಿತ್ರ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಅದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ. ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ರಬ್ಬರ್ ತೆಗಿತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಚಿತ್ರ, ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಯಾವುದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಎಸ್, ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಈ ಚಿತ್ರ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ, ಏನಿರ್ಬೋದು ಇದು? ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್. ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಹಗ್ ದಿ ಟ್ರೀಸ್. ಆ ಟ್ರೀನ ಸುತ್ತೋರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎಸ್, ಮೇಲ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಹೆಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಏನು? ಚಿಪ್ಕೋ ಆಂದೋಲನ್. ಓಕೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಚಿಪ್ಕೋ ಆಂದೋಲನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ಮಾಸ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ that originated in a village Rain in Garhwal. They ask for 1 marks question students. ಏನಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು? ಚಿಪ್ಕೋ ಆಂದೋಲನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ? ಎಸ್, it started in the village called Rain in Garhwal in the Himalayas. Yes, Chipko Andolan was a mass movement that originated in a village called Rain in Garhwal in the Himalayas, in which the women folk of the hugged the trees in order to prevent the logging contractor from cutting them down. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ರೇನಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಜಾಗ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಮರ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮರ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಕಡೆಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೆಂಗಸರು ಹೋಗಿ ಮರವನ್ನು ತಬ್ಗೋತಾರೆ. ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಈ ಯಾರಿರ್ಬೋದು ಇವರು? ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ ಯಾರಿರ್ಬೋದು? ಎಸ್, ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫೇಮಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿಸ್ಟ್, ಚಿಪ್ಕೋ ಆಂದೋಲನ್ ಫೌಂಡರ್ ಸುಂದರ್ಲಾಲ್ ಬಹುಗುಣ. ಸುಂದರ್ಲಾಲ್ ಬಹುಗುಣ ಇವರು ಚಿಪ್ಕೋ ಆಂದೋಲನವನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್. ಇನ್ ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್, ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ A.K. Banerjee involved villages in the protection of 1272 hectares of badly degraded sal forest. Chipko movement started in a small village to protect trees. The women hugged the trees to prevent them from cutting. ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಪಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಇದು. ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ಯಾನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು. ಅವರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ 1272 ಹೆಕ್ಟೇರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ಲಿ ಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೆಡ್ ಸಾಲ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಂದು ಚಿಪ್ಕೋ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಟ್ರೀನ ಹಗ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಟ್ರೀನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಮೃತಾದೇವಿ ಬಿಷ್ಣೋಯ್ sacrificed her life along with 363 others for protection of Kejri trees in Kejrali village near Jodhpur in Rajasthan. ಇವರೊಬ್ಬರು ಬಹಳ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅಮೃತಾದೇವಿ ಬಿಷ್ಣೋಯಿ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ 363 ಜನ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕೇಜ್ರಾಲಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಸುಮಾರು ಕೇಜ್ರಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇವರು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋಣ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ವೈ ಶುಡ್ ವಿ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್? ಎಸ್, ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್: ಟು ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲಿಟಿ, to preserve biodiversity, to obtain medicine, wood, fruits, etc., products in a sustainable manner, to promote social and economic growth. Students, ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನಂತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ವೈ ಶುಡ್ ವಿ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ನೀವು ಬರೀಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಬರೀತೀರಾ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ನ? ಎಸ್, ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್: to prevent loss of ecological stability, to preserve biodiversity, to obtain medicine, wood, fruits, etc., products in a sustainable manner, to promote social and economic growth. Okay, these are all the important factors to conserve the forest and wildlife. In next slide, conservation of a forest can be conserved by preventing the process of deforestation, preventing cattle ranching in the forest, promoting afforestation, preventing the soil erosion. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ, ಪ್ರಮೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಫಾರೆಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ವನ ಮಹೋತ್ಸವ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಒಂದು ಹಳೆ ಗಿಡ, ಒಂದು ಹಳೆ ಮರ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಮರ ಬಿದ್ದೋಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಪುನಃ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ನೆಟ್ ಬೆಳೆಸಬೇಕಾದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಫಾರೆಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ದಿ ವರ್ಡ್ ವನ ಮಹೋತ್ಸವ. ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಎರೋಷನ್, ಮೊಬಿಲೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಕೋಆಪರೇಷನ್. These are all the important points to conservation of forest. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Why should we conserve forest and wildlife? ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ತರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. The conservation of forest is very important for the stability of the environment. Forests serve as home to huge variety of life forms. Destruction of these forests can disturb the food chain and lead to the extinction of many important species. Also, forests protect the soil from erosion and play a vital role in the water cycle. The loss of forest can severely affect the day-to-day lives of human beings. Remember, students. Next, need for building large dams. Dams ಎಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು ನಮಗೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ ಈಗ. Storage of usable water of rivers. Storage of usable water of rivers for continuous supply of water throughout the year. To make water available for generating electricity. To control floods. For irrigation canal systems leading from these dams to carry large amount of water to great distances. It means that dams na ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀರನ್ನ ಸಂಗ್ರಹ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಸಂಗ್ರಹ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು they use for drinking purpose, then use for agricultural purpose. ಅಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ ನೀರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಜನರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀರನ್ನು ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಟು ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ದಿ ವಾಟರ್. Okay. Then let's move on to the next slide. Dams. ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಇದು ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡೋಣ. ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ KRH ಡ್ಯಾಮ್, ಕೃಷ್ಣರಾಜಸಾಗರ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. The second one, look here, another dam. It is called Alamatti Dam. Then next, TB Dam, Tungabhadra Dam. Next one is Vani Vilas Dam in Hiriyur. Okay, these are all the important dams in the Karnataka. The main purpose of construction of dams is to prevent the water for further future. Next concept is Narmada Bachao Andolan. Narmada Bachao Andolan about raising the height of the Sardar Sarovar Dam on the river Narmada raised 3 problems in particular. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಮೂರು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗಾದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ನಮಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್, ದಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್, ದಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ social problems. These are the 3 important problems arise at the time of Narmada Bachao Andolan. Let's see one by one. First one is economic problems. It is because dams swallow up huge amounts of public money without generation of proportionate benefits. Second one is environmental problems, because there is deforestation at a large scale. This causes loss of biological diversity to displacement of large number of people. ಅಂದರೆ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಜಾಗನ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅನೇಕ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ದಿ ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟೋಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, ನಾಶ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದೊಂದು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ peasants and tribals without adequate compensation or rehabilitations. Look at the picture, students. Who is she? She is Medha Patkar. ನರ್ಮದಾ ಬಚಾವ್ ಆಂದೋಲನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ಒಬ್ಬ ದಿಟ್ಟ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮೇಧಾ ಪಾಟ್ಕರ್ ಇವರು, ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಶೆಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ವಾಟರ್ ಶೆಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸಸ್ and water management practices to protect and improve the quality of the water and other natural resources. Let me repeat, watershed management is a term used to describe the process of implementing land use practices and water management practices to protect and improve the quality of the water and other natural resources. Okay, then aims and advantages of watershed management. What are the aims and advantages of this watershed management? Yes, the aim of watershed management is to develop primary resources of land and water to produce secondary resources of plants and animals for use in a manner which will not cause ecological imbalance. Then what are the advantages of watershed management? Yes, the first one is watershed management increases the production and income of the watershed community, reduces the droughts and floods, and increases the life of the downstream dams and reservoirs. These are the advantages. Next slide, water harvesting. What is the meaning of that? Water harvesting is an age-old concept of collecting rainwater which can be stored for direct use or can be recharged into the groundwater. ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ರೈನ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ನ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟು ಏನಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ನೀರನ್ನು ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ಗೆ ಬಳಸೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ರೈನ್ ವಾಟರ್ನ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಬಳಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಅ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ರೈನ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗೋಣ, ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಎಸ್, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ಬೋದು? ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಇದೆ. when you come to the Rajasthan, it has Kadins, tanks and nadis. In Maharashtra it is called Bandaras and Tals. Bandis in Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Hars and pines in Bihar. Kuls in Himachal Pradesh. Ponds in the Kandi belt of Jammu region. Eris or tanks in Tamil Nadu. Surangams in Kerala. Kattas in Karnataka or some of the ancient water harvesting. ನೋಡಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹೆಸರುಗಳು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹೆಸರು ಇರಬಹುದು. ದಿ ಮೇನ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ದಿ ವಾಟರ್. ಹೆಸರು ಬೇರೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಬಹುದು. ಆರ್ ಮೇನ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ದಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. ಓಕೆ, ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್. ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಚಿತ್ರ ಬಂತು. ಏನು ಚಿತ್ರ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಇದು? ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ಕಾದಿನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರ ಹೌ ನೀರು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹರ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದಿದ್ದು ನೀರು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೀಪೇಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ವೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬೋದು ನಾವು. ಇದು ನಾವೇನು ಕರಿಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದನ್ನೇನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾದಿನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಯಾವುದು? ಕಾದಿನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್. The advantages are water harvesting techniques recharge the groundwater level which are drawn through pumps, tube wells etc. Water harvested in lakes, ponds, nadis help the communities to procure water in most part of the year. It increases production and income of the community. Giving people control over their local water resources ensures that mismanagement and over exploitation of these resources is reduced or removed. Then advantages of storing water in the ground. ಏನು advantages ಇದೆ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು? Water does not evaporate when underground. Water spreads to recharge wells. It also provides moisture for the vegetation to survive during dry periods. As water is not exposed, it cannot become breeding ground for mosquitoes. Groundwater is also protected from contamination by humans and animal wastes. Water conservation in hilly areas. Hilly regions alli yav tara conservation ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ನ ನೋಡೋಣ ಈಗ. Yes, in mountains areas, instead of traditional water harvesting system, check dams are built across the seasonally flooded gullies. Check dam ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. In this system, running water is stored and diverted to the required places. Such water does not remain stagnant for long. Hence, there is less chance of it becoming polluted like that of pond water. ಹರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಚೆಕ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಚೆಕ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನೀರು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಆ ನೀರನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಳಸ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಇದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. Next, move to the factors responsible for neglect of local irrigational methods. Yes, development of a large dams and canals that supply water to large areas. The requirement of water has increased many times due to increase in population, which cannot be fulfilled by local irrigation methods. Local irrigation methods are old and less efficient. They cannot fulfill the need of water for the crops which need for more water. Then move on to the fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? Yes, fossil fuels are coal and petroleum. They are the important and major sources of energy. Petroleum is used for automobiles and electricity generation. Coal is a major source for electricity generation in thermal power plants. ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಥರ್ಮಲ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೋಲ್ನ ಬಳಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ, ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿ. ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಶೋಸ್ ದಿ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕೋಲ್. ದಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದೀಸ್ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಗುಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಅವರ್ lives depend. Let's move on to the next slide. Find out about the traditional systems of water harvesting or management in your region. ಈ ಥರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಏನು ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಹಾಗಾದರೆ? ಇನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಮೆಟ್ರೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ ಸಿಟೀಸ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೇಕ್ಸ್. ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೋರ್ವೆಲ್ಸ್, whereas pipes harvest water directly from the lakes. The harvested water is then stored in water tankers placed at strategic locations throughout the city. Management of coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum have been formed from biomass. Coal and petroleum are huge reservoirs of carbon, and if all of this carbon is converted to carbon dioxide, then the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is going to increase, leading to the intense global warming. ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ? ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ನಾವು ಫಾಸಿಲ್ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಸ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬಳಸ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಫಾಸಿಲ್ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಸ್ nowadays it causes air pollution, it causes global warming because of the increasing percentage of carbon dioxide. Okay, thus we need to use these resources judiciously. ಭಾಳ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನು ಬಳಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. Methods of conserving fossil fuels: use more and more renewable fuel, use CNG more in place of petrol, avoid wastage of oil and fossil fuels by using more efficient engines, protect the fossil fuels from accidental fires. Next one is environment friendliness measures. In this, use bus instead of personal vehicle, use CFL or LED bulb instead of electric bulbs, then use stairs instead of lift wherever possible, wear extra cloth in winter instead of heating devices, switch off appliances when not required, switch off vehicle engine when waiting in traffic signals. ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಬಿದ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಬಿದ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸುಮಾರು 60 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ 90 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಗಾಡಿ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು ಅದರಿಂದ? ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬರೋವರೆಗೂ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಥ, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅನಾವಶ್ಯಕವಾಗಿ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ಸ್ನ ಬರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಅದು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನ್ ವೆನ್ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, then this is all about the important concepts in the chapter sustainable management of natural resources. ಹೇಳಿದಾಗನೇ ಇದು ಕೇವಲ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಜನರಲ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ದಿನನಿತ್ಯ ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯನೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್, ಏನು ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾದರೆ, ಎಸ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ದಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್, ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೀಯೂಸ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್? Suggest at least 3 points. What are 3 main problems from dams? Why should we conserve forest and wildlife? How burning of fossil fuels is affecting our environment? Next, how mining is a cause of pollution? List 2 advantages of water harvesting. Why reuse is better than recycle? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Who are called stakeholders? Important question. Name some traditional water harvesting system in India. Discuss the damage caused to forest by the following activities like building rest houses for 10% tourists in national parks, grazing domestic animals on national parks, tourists throwing plastic bottles, cover and other litter in national parks. Okay, ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನೀವು ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕನ್ನು ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಜನರಲ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಯಾವ ಥರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎ ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಾಗಲಿ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮನ್ನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಪ್ಲೈಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಪುನಃ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಜನರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಆನ್ಸರ್ನ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಭೀತಿ ತೊರೆಯುವ ನಾವು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೆಯುವ, ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ.
ಖಾಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಭರ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೊಂದಿಸಿ ಬರೆದು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಿ,
ಚಿತ್ರ ಬರೆದು ಭಾಗವ ಹೆಸರಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೂ ಉತ್ತರಿಸಿ.
ಪಾಸು ಫೇಲು ಗೆಲುವು ಸೋಲು ಜೀವನ ಎಲ್ಲಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮಿಗಿಲು.
ಅಂಕಗಳೆಂದರೆ ಮೇಲಿನ ತೊಗಟೆ, ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಅದರ ಒಳಗಿನ ತಿರುಳು. ಭೀತಿ ತೊರೆಯುವ ನಾವು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೆಯುವ, ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ. ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ, ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ.